Whoa, you're seeing my face. And that is because I think going forward, I wanted to try showing my face more in my videos, especially since I've shut down my SoundCloud, which thanks for the people who have been following me on SoundCloud, but I've been wanting to focus on YouTube a lot more now, and I think it's more interesting if you guys can see my face rather than just a picture of the topic with my voice. So I think, it shows that, I'm putting more of an effort into my videos. So that's all I want to know. I hope you guys like this new format. If comment below if you like this new format, or hell, if you want me to go back to using just a picture, or if you would even like me to use some gameplay in some of my videos. So that's all I want to say. Let's get into the topic of this video. Okay, Nintendo held their Nintendo Direct, a surprise Nintendo Direct yesterday morning, and so now I'm going to go over the games that caught my eye. Obviously, if I talk about all the games, then what's the point of watching the Nintendo Direct itself? And also, I wouldn't have much to say about a couple of the games that were announced. So let's go for the ones that caught my attention. So the first game they showed off was The World Ends With You Final Remix, which is a port of that Nintendo DS game. It's got rhythmic combat. The new version will have touch or Joy-Con controls, and obviously they're taking a 2-screen game and adapting it into a single-screen game. I basically see this as Square Enix's first commercial attempt to see if the Switch is a viable platform. I believe they said they were interested in the Switch before. I kind of wanted them to release like some sort of Final Fantasy related game, like a sequel in the ongoing line of the Final Fantasy Crystal Breakers games that were released on the original Wii and Nintendo DS. But I know The World Ends With You has its fans. I mean, pretty sure it has. Given that they're porting this from the Nintendo DS. So this game will be out later this year, and hopefully if it sells well, that means we might get something like a Final Fantasy 15 port on the Switch. I think I've heard Square Enix has been wanting to try to get that game to come to Switch, but we'll have to see if it can run it, and if there are customers out there that will want to buy Square Enix games on Switch. So, next game on the list is Pokken Tournament, and it is getting some paid DLC. So, the first wave of paid DLC will have Mega Rayquaza, Aegislash, and Mimikyu, and the second wave will have Blastoise, Mew, and Celebi. And the second wave will also have avatar items like costumes. And so the first wave will be released on January 31st, and the second wave will be released on March 23rd. I'm not really a Pokken fan. I have the game for the Wii U, and I don't really play it as much because the combat kind of intimidates me. But I know a lot of people like Pokken, so it's good that they're continuing to support the Pokken Tournament game on the Switch. I know it's a port from the Wii U version, but it is good that they're continuing to support it. The next game, and the first one that I might actually buy this year for Switch, is Kirby Star Allies, which has, and it is the Kirby game that Nintendo showed at E3 last year, and it has new copy abilities like the artist ability that lets you paint copy abilities to attack enemies. Well, I don't know about copy abilities, but I'm painting different kinds of attacks to attack enemies. There is the spider copy ability that lets you trap enemies in webs. And players can also play as Kura copy abilities alongside Kirby. Kind of wish they let you play as the different Kirby characters like Waddle Dee or Meta Knight, but it's pretty cool. And there will be 4-player co-op. And the game itself looks really nice. It's really detailed, but still cartoony. So it is coming out on March 16th. I always kind of preferred Kirby over Mario, since I'm not very good at Mario, and I always like the creativity in Kirby games. Just the idea of swallowing enemies and turning into the abilities they possess, I always thought was really cool. So That's Kirby Star Abilities. There's going to be a demo for Dragon Quest Builders. Not my cup of tea, but knowing that Dragon Quest is a popular franchise, I thought I'd bring that up. So moving on, Hyrule Warriors is coming to the Switch with Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. It is coming out this spring. It is going to have every map and character from the 3DS and Wii U versions, including this giant chicken. There's going to be 29 characters in total. There will be 2-player multiplayer using the individual Joy-Con, so you would give one Joy-Con to a friend, and you would take out the other Joy-Con to play yourself. So, yeah, I know it's kind of weird though, because I've played some games like using one Joy-Con, like Snipper Clips and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's kind of uncomfortable because the Joy-Con controls are not centered. You know, they're a little bit off to the left or right, depending on how you play. So you end up with this big part of the controller that's just kind of obstructing it. But if you like playing that way, more power to you. This game will run at 1080p in TV mode, and among the included characters, you will get Link and Zelda in their Breath of the Wild outfits. So that's coming to Switch in spring. I always kind of felt Hyrule Warriors was kind of dumb, or really the Nintendo Warriors games was kind of a dumb idea. I have Fire Emblem Warriors, and I'm not really liking that game too much. If Hyrule Warriors is a better game, please let me know. I'm probably not going to pick that game up. I'll probably be too busy playing Wolfenstein 2 and Kirby Star Allies. So, yeah, and then moving on, we have Mario Tennis Aces, the first Mario Tennis game to come to Switch, and it's got some pretty cool looking techie kind of stages. Like, I like how the stages have these screens on the floor with the characters' names, and it's also got the Mario brothers wearing tennis outfits complete with visors. And Mario Tennis Aces, which is kind of an title, will have the first story mode in a Mario Tennis game since the Mario Tennis game on Game Boy Advance, so you can go whacking tennis balls at piranha plants. There will be missions and boss battles. So, not really my thing. Mario Tennis is one of those games where if it was like a friend of mine that had Mario Tennis Aces, I would play it. It's not really my cup of tea, but if you're into that, into the Mario Tennis Aces, I'm sure it's going to be great for you. So, moving on. So, Super Mario Odyssey is going to get some free DLC that works if you beat the main story. So, this free DLC is called Luigi's Balloon World. The way it works is basically you go around hiding these balloons for online players to find, or you can go finding balloons that online players hid. So, the DLC will also include new filters for Snapshot mode, and there will be new costumes for Mario. So this will be coming out in February. I'm going to be probably going to get it. I've been having a ton of fun with Super Mario Odyssey. I've actually just beaten the main game, which is amazing for me because the last time I beat a Super Mario 3D action game was Super Mario Galaxy on the original Wii. So yeah, that's good news to hear. SNK Heroes Tag Team Frenzy, which I'm pretty sure it's going to get a lot of people saying, oh, this is a game made for SJWs. But I think for SNK fighting fans, it looks like a really fun game. You play 2-on-2 fights using SNK's female characters. So it's not really my cup of tea. It's coming out this summer. I am hoping that with this game coming out, this doesn't mean that the Switch is going to become a JRPG and fighting machine like that. Those are the only two genres the Switch will be known for, mainly because they don't appeal to me, and I know this won't appeal to a good chunk of the market. Art of Fighting 2 will also be coming to Switch, but I'm hoping these kind of games aren't going to be the only ones that the Switch is known for, because I think these games would appeal to a lot of people in Japan and to an extent in the West, but the Switch is also going to need to have more hard. Not that these games aren't hardcore, but I mean games like Doom and Call of Duty should also be coming to Switch to appeal to more customers. So next up, the Mario Rabbids game the Ubisoft made. Donkey Kong is coming, which is pretty cool news if you're into that game. Not really a fan of Mario Rabbids, only because I'm not really into its XCOM style gameplay. But if you're into this, good news for you. So, moving on. Payday 2, again, not really my cup of tea, but it is great to see another sort of hardcore game coming to Switch. I believe you go around planning these robberies. The version for Switch will have touch controls and HD rumble, and there will be a character named Joy that will be a timed exclusive character in the Switch version. So that's coming on February 27th. I kind of wish, since Payday 2 isn't really as big a franchise as Call of Duty or Battlefield, that it should have come out towards the launch of the Switch. But it is good that this game is coming. So moving right along to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is coming to Switch. Funky Kong is going to be in this version, as well as that 2-player co-op mentioned where you give one Joy-Con to a friend and one to another. So yeah, that is coming on May 4th. So I'm guessing Nintendo is pushing the whole, giving one Joy-Con to a friend and giving in one to yourself. I'm not really sure if a lot of people like playing that way, since, like I said, it's not super comfortable. But it is good that I guess it is good that Nintendo is trying to push their whole, hey, you can play in multiple ways, that kind of a strategy. So, and then we get to probably the biggest announcement made at this Nintendo Direct, which is Dark Souls Remastered, which I was hoping for a Dark Souls trilogy to come to Switch, but it is just the first game, which I think that might be difficult enough, since I've heard that the Dark Souls games are some of the most difficult games of the current generation. Interesting to note, it runs at 1080p, 30 frames per second when docked. And I find that strange because if the PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, and the PC versions will run up to 4K at 60 frames per second. So I know the Switch can't handle 4K, and that's not my problem. My thing is, I kind of wish the game could run at 60 frames per second, especially since the original Dark Souls was a previous generation game. But hey, if it runs just like Doom, then that's plenty enough. Especially since, like I said before, for a 30 frames per second game, Doom runs incredibly smooth. I mean, yes, it has a couple times of slowdown, but I think it's a pretty decent game for a 30 frames per second game. I am hoping that Nintendo and Namco Bandai, or now they're called Bandai Namco, I hope they advertise this game a lot. Especially since the Dark Souls franchise is notoriously hard, but it's still a really popular game. But I hope that they make more of an effort to advertise this game, saying, hey, you can now get Dark Souls on Switch. Because even though I think Nintendo has done a better job advertising third-party games on the Switch compared to the Wii U, I really feel they should make more of an effort. I still kind of get that vibe that Nintendo thinks that all they need is their third-party games to sell systems, which, as evidenced by the failure of the Wii U, they're going to need more than that. But still, really glad that Dark Souls Remastered is coming to Switch. I actually found out after I tweeted the Nintendo Direct yesterday. Steven, my friend that comes and often does episodes with me, he said that he's getting a Switch just to play Dark Souls Remastered. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting that not only the game is coming, but I managed to finally get my friend to buy a Switch. Yay. So, yeah, so that is the Nintendo Direct. Overall, I think it was pretty decent, but I feel we could have used a few more announcements. Like, I remember this Direct was first rumored when it was heard that EA has been talking to Nintendo, but the thing is, the only EA game that was announced in this Direct, and I didn't realize this at first, was the action platformer Fate. So I would have liked to see more. Admittedly, it does make me wonder what EA could have brought to Switch, especially since now EA's in sort of a rut. Mass Effect Andromeda was disappointing. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think if they brought that over to Switch, that would really hurt Nintendo, especially with the whole loot box and microtransaction frenzy. Not that I know they turned loot boxes and microtransactions off, but the game has been getting a pretty poor rep. But just because I'm not saying it probably wouldn't be a good idea for EA to release a game right now for the Switch, it still doesn't mean I feel there was a little lack of third-party support. I'm kind of lenient since it is the beginning of the year and there are not too many third-party games. I'm not really sure that could have come to Switch. Two in particular I wish could have been announced would have been Wolfenstein 2, which I know is supposed to come out early this year for Switch. I would have liked to have at least seen a release date announced. It would have been nice too if there was some footage, especially since there's a lot of people skeptical if Wolfenstein 2 can run on Switch. Given that it's being worked on the same company that worked on the port for Doom, which was Panic Room, and they did a really good job bringing over Doom and Rocket League, I think that Wolfenstein 2 is in good hands, but I would have liked to have seen more details, especially since the game is supposed to come out soon and there is no release date yet. Another game that I've heard there are heavy rumors that are coming to Switch is GTA 5, which, isn't confirmed by Rockstar, but I would have liked to have seen that announced for Switch, especially since GTA 5 sold really well, and the Switch version could have been the only portable version. So, yeah. I didn't really expect too much from Metroid Prime 4 since that game is in early development. Didn't really expect many announcements for Nintendo Switch Online and Virtual Console. I thought that we were going to see more of that at E3, so I think that's where they're going to make announcements for that. Another thing I wish they could have talked about during this Nintendo Direct was video streaming apps like YouTube and Netflix. Especially since Hulu came out for the Switch in the States, and then over in Japan they got Nico Nico. So I would have liked to have seen them. I know a lot of people want Netflix, but I myself would like to see a YouTube app and even a web browser and Twitch. I mean, I know some people are going to say, oh, just use your smartphone, but the Switch for a lot of people has their biggest screen that is super portable. So I would have liked to have seen them announce streaming apps in a web browser. But aside from those, I think the Nintendo Direct Mini overall was pretty decent, especially since they're announcing a lot of Switch games are coming in the spring. Games like Kirby Star Allies, A's, and Mario Tennis Aces, and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Yes, I know a couple of the games announced are ports, like Hyrule Warriors and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but I kind of feel as long as we have new games coming out like Kirby Star Allies, I think we should be good. That, and also, since the Switch is selling at a much better rate than the Wii U, it would make sense to bring over these Wii U games to Switch, since a lot of people that bought a Switch probably have never even touched these Wii U titles. So, yeah. And even for myself, I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch, which for some reason I played that game for over 150 hours, but that's because it's Mario Kart and it's awesome. So alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.